What up, 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 what up? That's how we do. What's good, America? It's your boy Rod and my man Big D Don in the house. It's the Brooklyn Bears Ball Sports Show. We are back once again. We got so much to talk about. We had a great
Definitely.
Thanksgiving. Everybody's been eating. Everybody's been stuffing. Everybody been doing their thing here. We about to get it in, Big D. How was your Thanksgiving, fam?
Oh, it was good. It was good. How was yours? No complaints. It was pretty cool. I got
That
to
was
spend
good.
some time with some family and friends. So it was a great day overall.
That's what's
Um,
up, man. That's what's up. Yes,
yeah.
sir. Yes, sir.
So
I ate a lot of Saquon and Daniel Jones for dinner. You
I'm
know.
sure. I'm sure. Listen, before we get started, we ask everyone to please subscribe, like,
Yes,
share both our Facebook and YouTube pages. We would greatly appreciate that. We
indeed.
are enjoying the comments that people are leaving. Please get engaged.
Yes,
We
sir.
really appreciate that. The topic that we're going to discuss further towards the end of the show is, and I'm sure you've heard this, Rod. Should Jerry Jones be canceled? Should we cancel Jerry Jones?
Mm, good question. Very interesting.
I mean, given the
Very,
times that
very
we're in,
interesting.
given the
Yeah,
times that we're in, where we are
yeah.
in a woke cancel culture kind of society,
Mm-hmm.
is Jerry Jones cancelable? I don't know. I don't know if that's a real word, but is he
It's a word.
cancel
It's a
worthy?
word.
Is he cancel
Cancel
worthy?
worthy.
But
That's gonna be an interesting take.
let's get into some interesting stuff, man. This show should be action packed. We got some good games, some previews, and
Yep.
also talking about yesterday's games. Let's get into it. Well, week 12 started off very interesting. I will say this: I missed you on yesterday's show, but I will say this: I went 3-0 against the spread. So I did pick some fire picks yesterday, although
Pretty
the
cool.
spreads were leading one way. Of course, you got to zig when they zag, right? So Vegas wanted everybody to believe one thing,
Right, right.
but people that know the game and watch a little bit closely will understand that those spreads seemed a little off. But let's get into the previews, let's review some of the games that took place. Let's start off with your Dallas Cowboys. They played
Yes, yes,
Dallas
yes.
Cowboys 7-3 against the New York
Mm-hmm.
Giants 7-3. So this is, right now, NFC East, every game is important. This is, pretty much for the division, and of course, seeding. If the other team becomes a wild card team, where they fall, because I'm almost certain that at least two teams are going to come from the NFC East. But the game was pretty
Yeah.
interesting. It went back and forth, but I had enough to say yesterday about it. What's your take on what we saw Thanksgiving Day?
Well, you know what? Again, the Dallas Cowboys, and you know me, as I say to you all the time in this show, D, been saying it since the inception. I am a realistic Dallas Cowboy fan. I'm very objective. Though I brag about my Cowboys, I can be a nauseating Cowboy fan, as most people describe us to be, but I am objective. And I'm going to take a very objective view concerning yesterday's game. We have to clean up the penalties. This team is not playoff ready. Okay. We're 8-3, but we're not playoff ready. Okay. And I don't think right now, the way we're looking, we're going to be able to get past the first round because you're going to have some very competitive teams in the playoffs. Dallas will make the playoffs. Dallas has a very good chance to obviously win the division. But what I saw yesterday was 13 penalties for 96 yards. Okay. What I saw yesterday was still Dak having some communication issues with the receivers. The one interception was trying to find Gallup over there in the corner there, which looked like he thought Dak, that is, he had a free play, and then somehow they just got on the wrong page. I mean, Gallup, because Gallup pretty much gave up on the play. Then again, CD down the middle, the option routes, which really, really concerns me because I don't think Dak and CD are always on the same page to that. Okay, but CD is looking good. The offense is looking good, and we do have a new nickname for our tandem in the backfield. It is called Feed and feed, okay? Feed and speed. Zeke is feed, Pollard is speed, and that's how we look at. So shout out to all the Tolos out there that's doing their thing. 103.5, the fan. That's how we're rocking. Well, the Cowboy fans. So between feed and speed, we're looking really good. Zeke actually had a little bit of a flash from the past there, but again, Dallas in the second half, we really began to say, hey, look, this is what we got to do. This is going to be a marking for us in that second half. At least I felt that was my barometer by which I was going to measure them by, to see if they were going to come out and just stop playing with the Giants. The first half was deplorable. We were not solid. We were, I like the fourth down call. I mean, I like the fact that we went for it on fourth down as early as we did. We do have a really good defense, but the fact of the matter is the play call was very questionable, and the play calling in the first half was very questionable. But I was concerned to be down 13-7 to a decimated Giants team. That was not a good thing. I had a lot of concerns with that. So if we had lost this game, you would have done show number 2 by yourself as well. So the truth of the matter is that Dallas in the second half, we came out, we were the dominant team, we ran the ball, we do what we do best, we play great defense, we put our ears back and come, and we shut down a very, very good running back, as we know, Saquon, second leading rusher in the NFL right now behind D. Henry. And listen, did a good job shutting them down and shutting down this team. But again, they're decimated. Giants, look, they're Fugazi 7-3 team. They're going to be on the outside looking in. They're not getting into the playoffs. But the truth of the matter is, Dallas to struggle in that first half, that concerns me. And of course, the penalties, which we have not cleaned up. I don't care. I thought Mike McCarthy thought he had that under control, but clearly he hasn't. So I'm still concerned. But we got 3 easy games coming up next that we should win before we see the Eagles again. So we'll see how it goes. But nevertheless, Dallas victory. We need some sticks there, and it was a good feeling.
Well, I'll say this. I say that the Dallas has a lot to be. I agree with you on that. Dallas has a lot to be concerned about. The penalties and the turnovers will ultimately affect them in the playoffs. Once they play, some higher caliber teams that aren't decimated with injuries. Because, I mean, obviously, you can only play who's on the field. But, I mean, the Giants are missing a lot of pieces. Both of their corners were injured. They had 3 starters missing off their line. So, yeah, Saquon Barkley couldn't get started. He couldn't really get any traction or breakthrough. And, of course, Dallas did what they're supposed to do. But given the decimated team that the Giants put on the field, I thought that it would have been closer to the way they played the Vikings. That should have been kind of what the score was, as opposed to it being so close. I think that from a standpoint of chemistry, there was questions about Odell Beckham making the decision based on the final score of this game, who came out on top, that he was going to make his decision one way or the other, depending on what team needs him the most, or what team would, if with his addition, would be, more ready for the playoffs, more playoff bound, and can make a deep run. I mean, obviously, because the Giants are just, they're missing a lot of pieces, it would be the Cowboys. But I think if the Cowboys don't win their division and they have to take that show on the road, good luck in Tampa Bay throwing 2 interceptions and just playing the way you played, getting behind in the first half. Good luck with that. Good luck with the 49ers. If you come to San Francisco, good luck throwing 2 interceptions, and just that second half, that's okay here and there, but that can't be your team's mantra that, hey, listen, there's always the second half. I think that is a dangerous situation. I think that potentially the defense pretty much bailed them out. I mean, you guys won the game, but it wasn't an impressive game. As Giannis always says, or he has said before, you can't play with your food. So I think they should have just devoured the Giants, and but you got the W. So I mean, a win is a win, right? And as far as moving forward, I think that the penalties, getting 13 penalties in the playoffs, I don't. It's not a good look. I think that being penalized that much, the Giants couldn't capitalize off of those penalties. Really, other teams that you would potentially have to play are
Right.
definitely going to capitalize. At least get for every penalty or every opportunity that a drive is extended, even if they cash
Absolutely.
field goals. That I think that the turnout or how everything turned out might be different. So, good for them. I will say this
Yeah.
ahead of time.
Good
I will
point.
say this kind of a you said 3 easy games. Watch out for the Colts. You heard it first, week 12. Watch out for the Colts because the Colts will be able to run the ball, and Matt Ryan is enough of a veteran that he can get the ball out quickly enough, right? Because he's not mobile, right?
Yeah,
Daniel
he can.
Jones
Yeah.
obviously
No.
has great mobility, but I think it's at Jerry World, right? So you guys are playing at
Yep.
home, and
Yep.
I wouldn't just kind of rubber stamp that all of those are going to be victories because things can happen. So it may not be an automatic, hey, we got those next 3 games. I'm saying that the Colts who beat Kansas City, right? Because they do have a run game. They do have an effective
Yeah,
run
they do.
game,
Yeah.
and
Yeah, they
they
do.
might pose
They
a
do.
problem for you guys. So,
I
but
could.
but oh,
I could say. I'll say this real quick to that. To your point. Yeah, you're right. I totally agree with that. I agree with that. But that, other than Tom Brady, the Cowboys have a lot of success against statuesque quarterbacks, such as Matt Ryan. Okay, quarterbacks that sit in the pocket, they can't move. There's statues back there. Dallas will definitely listen. We should, again. You make good points, and they can't run the ball, but that should be a pretty good victory for us. Dallas has got to be able to annihilate these teams that they are better than. So I agree. I agree with you there, though. No, but good points. I agree. I'm not sleeping on them. I'm just saying we should. We got to start really throwing our weight around
absolutely. Okay, let's go on to the
now. Okay.
Pats and Vikings. We the Vikings desperately needed to get back on track if they want to make any noise in the playoffs. After getting totally dismantled by your team last week and only putting up 3 points, I mean, from a
Right.
mental standpoint, they really needed to have a good showing. It was a prime time game, prime time in the fact that it was everybody's watching. You have a captivated audience. You have everybody either full from all of the great food that they had, spending time with their family. Everybody's now talking about these 3 games, right? So it was important for them to
Right.
have a good showing, and they did show up really well. I thought that they played well. Of course, Jefferson turned back into the Jefferson that we love. He broke a record for his receiving yards first 3 years in the league. So I think he is. I think he eclipsed Randy Moss. So
Yeah. Kid is good.
Kirk
No doubt.
Cousins. I wouldn't be so quick for Kirk to put the chains back on because don't listen. You beat the Pats. And honestly, you were supposed to, but something that they should be concerned with is, I think I'm going to say Daniel Jones. Mac Jones almost
Yeah.
put up 400 yards on them. So that is
Yeah, he
still
did.
something that they need to be concerned with.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
so I think they got back on track, but I wasn't overly impressed. They did what they should have done. What do you say?
No, I agree. And their defense, to me, being the Vikings, it's problematic. That secondary is trash.
Right.
Other than one corner they got, that secondary is trash. So listen, they're going to have a lot of problems. Okay, again, the Vikings are still, what are they now? What are they, 9-2? They're a team that we know a team is who they say they are based on what their record says they are, I guess, as it goes, whatever have you, however the statement is said. But at the end of the day, the Vikings are still not impressive. Their defense is not good. I'm sorry. So, again, giving up almost 400 yards to Mac Jones, who looked very good, by the way. Again, we saw a controversial call there. We don't really know what a catch is anymore. That's why I still say today Dez caught it, and it was a catch. And so, it's not anything impressive. If you're the Vikings, or if you're a fan of the Vikings, you really you're just a glorified regular season team. I think that's what you see. They're just a
Right.
really good team that's going to play well in the regular season, and at some point they will foil. But kudos to the Patriots though. They did look pretty good yesterday. That was a game that they really should have won. They should have won that game. That would have really demoralized the Vikings, especially coming off that beatdown that they took from America's team last week.
I like the way you slipped
I'm
that.
sorry.
Oh, yeah, it was America's team. Yeah. All right. Well, yeah, listen, a W is a W. Hey, however you
It
get
is.
it. And,
It is.
hopefully they'll try to make some improvements. But yeah, they have
Yeah.
some glaring holes in their overall team. But let's
Yeah.
talk about the Bills and the Lions, right? So the
Boy.
Lions are always on display, along with your Cowboys every Thanksgiving. We're force fed that whether we like it or not. But the Lions have
Right.
been playing really, really well. Offensively, they are, a really good team. The Bills had played well. I ultimately thought that the Bills would prevail, but they suffered a big loss. Von Miller. They're saying that, I mean, he's getting more opinions, but it could be surgery, anywhere from surgery and coming back
Yeah.
to season ending.
Right.
And Von
Right.
Miller was a piece that they need
Big
between
time.
Josh Allen's elbow, right? So there has been, from the last time when Josh Allen played the Jets, there has been a noticeable difference in the way he's been playing. His confidence level. Sometimes I don't know if he has the arm strength to zip things in the way he used to, where if you have a very strong arm, you can kind of zip it in between defenders to try to get it in. And I think some of it is lagging, and he doesn't have that strength, or he's throwing it in a certain motion that it doesn't, hurt his arm or further damage it. And as a result, I mean, he has been throwing a lot of red zone picks. I think between that and then a huge loss to Von Miller, because Von Miller is a difference maker in that defense. The What I'm wondering is if Von Miller is out for any extended period of time, or if Von Miller's season ended yesterday, is that the Bills'
Mm-hmm.
chances up in smoke? Because the Bills have a good team, but we already had said that they were a running back away. Their defense, between their defense and what their offense could do, minus the running back, was kind of their hindrance. Now, if you lose Von Miller, yes, their defense will be good, okay, but it won't be the same type of defense that teams are now have to concern themselves with as far as a pass rush. So I'm thinking that might derail their chances of going deep into the postseason. What do you say?
No, I agree with you. And I think with losing Von Miller pretty much now puts Kansas City in the driver's seat. Simple as that, right? Because that's really the only team that could give them any type of competition. So when you look at the AFC, you're really looking at the Bills and you're looking at Kansas City. Now, again, not to dismiss Miami or anybody like that.
You got the Bengals too.
Losing Von Miller and the Bengals too. But the Bengals, again, it's their O-line is actually playing a lot better in recent games. They're giving what's his name a lot of time to throw the ball. So he's getting some time there. But I think losing Joe Burrow, thank you, sir. I believe with losing Von Miller though, it is critical. So if he is out for the season, that is going to be a problem, because when you get into the playoffs there, he makes a world of a difference. We saw what he did with the Rams last year, how he was able to take their defense over the top, and just the team in general. You know what I'm saying? So I agree with you there. And I think in that game yesterday, the Bills are a team that, and I don't know, maybe they're giving us another dynamic to look at when it comes to really great teams, right? Maybe they're just a team that's just built for adversity. They're just a team that's going to just, they remind me a little bit of the 2007 Giants, right? They go through the playoffs and they're scrappy, they're tenacious, but yet they're ultra talented, right? They got all these weapons, and Stephon, I mean, I don't know, between him, Tyreek, and Jefferson, I mean, just pick your choice in terms of who is the actual best receiver in the league.
Yeah.
But I think when you look at the Bills, I think they're showing us something, a certain level of grit for a talented team like that, where you say, well, man, this team really should have blown out Detroit. Now, of course, Detroit, we know how gritty they are. Dan Campbell, they're chewing off people's legs and breaking kneecaps and stuff like that. And I got to say, they actually have taken on the persona of their head coach.
Yeah.
And the Lions, let me tell you something. They're going to be the team to be reckoned with in the future. I really do believe that. But the thing is that Buffalo still gets to win. I still think you might have a little bit of a concern with these red zone interceptions there with Josh. But again, they're aggressive throws. Josh is going to be who he is. Stephon Diggs keeps telling him, doesn't matter. I want you to keep throwing it. And you got a dog in Diggs, man. And it just makes a world of a difference. So it was a great game. That was probably one of the more entertaining games yesterday for me in my mind, out of the three that played. But that was a really good game. And they did a little Mahomes there. Josh, pulled a page out of Mahomes' book with a few seconds left there and got his team into field goal position with a heck of a throw and played it to Stephon over the middle. So, yeah. But the Bills, yeah, it was a great play. Great play. But, yeah, losing Von, that's huge. It's huge already. But we'll just need to see if it's for the season or not.
Yeah, definitely. Only time will tell, I think.
Yep.
We'll see these games Sunday because interesting enough, yeah, like you said, Kansas City, it's pretty much, it puts them in, the driver's seat as far as,
Yep.
Maybe getting a bye and also, if you got to go to Arrowhead, because part of it was with the Bills, who wants to go to Buffalo, right? Who wants to go to Buffalo in December, January, like February? Who wants to do that? No one wants to go there in January.
No,
so that would be definitely a huge benefit to them. But it seems like they might be on the road. Well, we'll see. They can still win the AFC East. So they'll still host a game, but I'm talking about when it gets deep into the playoffs, they won't have home field advantage throughout. So
of course,
time will tell. I think any way you cut it, whether he's out a few weeks or if he's out for the season, Von Miller is a huge loss. Let's talk about a fantastic franchise, right?
Okay.
That kind of rolls off the lips. Fantastic franchise. San Francisco 49ers.
Now, are we going back to Dallas again? We going back to the top?
No, we're done with that. The only time we're going to read.
Fantastic. So I thought maybe, you were talking about Dallas, but go ahead. Okay.
Right. So we're going to talk about the 49ers against the Saints. I think I'll say this. I don't want to get too overconfident with what my team will do, right? Because anything can happen. A defense could be playing fantastic. Offense could be explosive. And then, of course, the great equalizer, right? No, I'm being realistic. I'm being honest, right? So, but I do think that we should win against the Saints, right? I think it should be a pretty good game. I think our defense, this is the thing. I saw an interview with, I don't know what's so funny. I'm saying, I
love the drama that you're bringing to this piece right here. Are you really afraid of the Saints?
Teams?
Are you losing sleep?
No, I'm not losing sleep. But I will say this: a team can, if you know that a team is a really good team, that people will give their best effort, right? So I don't automatically. I'm not the pompous Cowboy fan or the person that thinks, oh, the next 3 games is ours. No, we're taking it game by game until we get to the Super Bowl and until confetti is falling on us. That's my approach to it. Your approach is thinking that you guys already got the next 3 victories. See, therein lies the problem. We're more of a blue collar team that is week by week winning, and you're looking for the grandiose, oh yeah, we're definitely going to the Super Bowl, and we'll look past these teams, and those are the teams that the Cowboys will lose to. So it's just a matter of approach, perspective. My perspective is we have to take the Saints serious, right? But we're going to get the W. What do you say?
I say that this is a waste of time. That's what I say. I say this is a waste of segment. That's what this is.
It's not a waste.
Listen, the Saints are not going to win. All right? The 49ers will pound them out. Okay, they're going to pound them out. Let me tell you something. The Saints are just befuddled. They're a team that just can't figure it out. They're still having some trauma issues from Sean Payton. They just haven't gotten it together. They have no quarterback, right? They've got none. You got, you're back and forth with the Red Baron, and then you've got, you know what I'm saying?
Jameis Winston
Your boy
crying and saying that it broke his heart that he lost his job to
right.
lost his starting position to injury.
Yeah, exactly. Which, hey, listen, that's sports, right? I mean, it just comes with the territory. I mean, join the line of crybabies because it happens to everybody in almost every sport. So it doesn't matter. But I'm saying, look, the 49ers, and here's why I say this, there really shouldn't be any issues. You said it. You guys are blue collar, you're aggressive, you pound, you got Ward calling out D-Hop, one of the best top 5 receivers in the league, saying I'm not afraid of him, steroid boy. And
I didn't care for that. I didn't care for that. I'm be honest. I didn't care for it.
I love it.
No, see, because listen,
I love it.
Pride comes before the fall. Pride comes before the fall. You got to be you got to be gracious in victory and defeat, right? So if whatever and like I said, with talking about the NBA, when we were talking about Giannis and we were talking about Montrezl Harrell, if you want to shut somebody down, then you shut them down. That is the discussion that you have on the court, on the field. That's how you handle, but calling somebody out about something, and to D-Hop's side, he said he wasn't aware that it was a, performance enhancing drug. Whether that's true or not, you got the W. That's all. That speaks for itself. You don't have to now further tarnish somebody's name and go. You don't have to shoot below the belt. You don't have to do that. I mean, if when the reward is the fact that we're in first place, the reward would be that we're going to the NFC Championship game. The reward is that confetti is falling on us in February. And then you ain't got to go with the little base comments.
Listen, I mean, I agree with that. I mean, look, ultimately that's everybody's goal, right? To win the Super Bowl. But in the journey, which Kobe Bryant always said is more important than the destination, right? In the journey, you got to develop some venom. You've got to develop some kind of animosity towards your opponents. That's a divisional team, right? That's a divisional rival there. Ward is going to be seeing D-Hop for a little while, right? You guys.
He's going to see him in week 18.
Well, right, exactly.
And he's not even. And that's why I say this real quick. That's why I say, if you say that when you're done with the season. So we swept the Rams. If you want to give some parting shots, okay, cool. We're gonna see D-Hop in week 18, and best believe D-Hop is going to. He's coming for him. So why create extra bulletin board material or extra give anybody, because that game may be pivotal to a seeding, right? And when teams pack it up because they're out of the playoffs, right?
Right.
This play is going to, we know for a fact, if D-Hop is not injured and he's playing, he's going to play with all his heart to prove and shut that guy up. He's going to shut Ward. He's going to try to shut Ward up. So why do that? That's all I'm saying. We're not afraid of anybody, but why do that?
I love it. I think it's good. I think a little bit of fodder like that is perfect. I think it's good. And I'll say this, and I don't know why I'm saying this. Maybe because I'm down here in the middle parts of Georgia here. The air is a little different here, and I can't believe I'm actually saying what I'm saying. But the 49ers right now, because of the fact that y'all are healthy, I have to admit, they're the most dangerous team in the NFC, because of the health of that defense. You guys are ranked number 1, by the way, on defense. So the defense is stout. Ward brings the wood. And let me tell you something. The 49ers, the way they're playing, and the only thing that's ever really hurt the Niners is 2 things. Is Garoppolo and injuries. And so they got the injury part coming into play now. That's getting aligned the way it needs to be. Let me tell you something. The Cardinals, listen, D-Hop is great. Yes, he is. But I don't think the 49ers got to be concerned. And you definitely got to be concerned about Andy Dalton and the New Orleans Saints come Sunday. Trust me. All right. So
it took you a better air quality to realize how dangerous the 49ers were.
Well,
it took you getting.
I think it's
a different.
I think there's some contamination. Something's going on down here. I don't know. It's not. The air isn't actually really good down here.
Right.
Or whatever it is. So yeah. I'll be out of here tomorrow. So.
Well, yeah, I get it. So ultimately, I think the Niners will get the W. And so we got to talk about the Dallas Cowboys team owner, Jerry Jones.
Oh boy.
I had some questions. This picture of Jerry Jones in 1957 surfaced
Yes,
or
sir.
resurfaced because I think my understanding is he addressed this picture before, right?
Yeah.
So Jerry Jones is at a protest of students that were going to uh, actually desegregate his school in Arkansas, right? So
Yep.
I've heard different comments where people says, and I don't know if he said it, that he was just curious about the situation and he wanted to come down and see what all the fuss was about, just boyish curiosity. But I'm saying this. The times I'm not going to say what 80-year-old Jerry Jones is, but my question to the audience is this: at what point we cannot pick and choose when cancer culture, we can actually push for it or we shouldn't push for it, right? And so should we judge somebody at 14 and they're now 80 years old, or 14 or 15, however old he was? Should we judge him now? All I'm saying is he was at the protest, right? That's a fact.
Right.
So it's not like there's thousands of people there, right? So if you look at the guy with the cigarette hanging out his mouth all the way to, Jerry Jones is very close to that guy. And that guy looks like the main agitator. Yeah. He's looking like he's,
exactly.
And this is a point of reference. We have to realize that Jerry Jones is 80 years old, right? Most of those people that are around, at least the young people, they're still alive. This didn't happen that long ago. So it poses a question that, okay, I had asked, what do you think that the 80-year-old Jerry Jones would tell his 14-year-old self? Do we think that Jerry Jones has learned that, this isn't the way that people should be? It should be a fair world for everyone, and everyone should have the same opportunities afforded to all Americans. Jerry Jones, as I had said before, has benefited greatly from desegregation. I mean, and I'm not saying the Cowboys is the only way he made his money, but obviously being a storied franchise, right? And having the value of what the Dallas Cowboys are, he has benefited. The majority of his employees are African American, right? And so my question to you is, when this picture surfaces as a diehard Cowboys fan, right? And it's just like if anybody else, because cancel culture is relentless, right? There have been people who have comedians, for example, have made comments 10 years. And obviously this is 65 years. So I'm just saying, what is the statute of limitation on it? We've had comedians that have made comments that were in 2022, 2021. In this time, it has been deemed offensive. But at the time, it was acceptable behavior. So my question is, should we hold people accountable to 2022 standards? Or if you were in any way, shape, or form in a position that was compromised given today's time, we still got to hold you to that standard? What do you say?
Well, let me say this. I got a couple of vantage points here that I kind of see this from. So number one, as a Cowboys fan, and this is important for people to know, any real Cowboy fan, okay, and I've been one since 1977, we understand that Jerry Jones is not the Cowboys, okay? Yes, he's built this brand. He's taken this team from the deplorable economic states that he founded in back in 1989 to an almost $8 billion entity and franchise, right? So we understand the marketing value and what this team holds in terms of that, all because of one man, Jerry Jones. But he is not the Cowboys when it comes to Cowboy fans. When Jerry, God forbid, he moves on and goes on to be with the Lord or forever whatever reason may step down one day, the Cowboys will still be the Cowboys. The Cowboys will outlive Jerry Jones and any other Jones for that matter, until the world comes to its final close. So we as Cowboy fans, even though Jerry is in the forefront of the marketing and been the face of the Cowboys, we don't put the two. They're not synonymous to us as Cowboy fans. But for the real ones, the true ones. Okay, that was.
Well, I disagree with Jerry. That. I'll let you get your point, but he is very much synonymous with the Cowboys. He is one of, if not the most influential owner of a NFL franchise. So we can't disassociate him and just say, well, he's only had it since this time, and Jerry Jones is kind of the owner, but he's not. I mean, I think to be fair, he's more than that. His personality can be even questioned. That at times his personality is bigger than the Cowboys as a franchise.
It is. And
so now we can't say he's not that important, or he's not the Cowboys.
It's not that he's not important, but in other words, Cowboy fan will not allow whatever their fandom is to being a Cowboy fan to be compromised because of what Jerry does. That's the point I'm trying to make. We're not connected at the hip to Jerry, although he has all the things you just said, but to the fan, to those that are loyal to the Cowboys as a football team, they're not concerned about that, that part of it all. No matter what Jerry does, and he's done a lot of things that have been questionable. We see the infidelity with his marriage, the young woman that has come out, and obviously through DNA testing, we know that that's his father, and it was all kind of stuff that Jerry's been. Listen, Jerry, we know by every stretch of imagination, Jerry is not an angel, okay? But Cowboy fans, real true Cowboy fans, at the end of the day, they're all about Sunday. They don't really care about that. And if anything, most of them don't want Jerry to even be in the forefront the way he is, because he's the reason why the Cowboys have not won since 1995. Because again, we know what happened between him and Jimmy and want to take all the credit. But now, with that being put to the side, let's get to the action here and what we saw 65 years ago. When we talk about culture, and we got to go about culture, because culture is the thing that we see, it transcends from one generation to the next. This was a man born in the 40s in the Deep South, Arkansas. There's no way, shape, or form that we could ever think or perceive that this man was not inculcated and indoctrinated in racism. We know it was. Absolutely. Do I believe that Jerry Jones at that time was a racist man? I would probably say most likely he was, because again, that was the culture. That's what he was most likely bred in. He was cultivated in, because that's all that was around him. There was, a race of Europeans that deferred, that made themselves greater than any other ethnicity group in America, and that's the culture that he came up in. Now, again, 65 years ago, 14 years old, he says, well, he came out of curiosity, not out of animosity. Those are his words, right? Okay, get it. Here we are. Now he's an 80-year-old man. Do I believe that the same person with those sentiments when he was 14 or 15 in that picture resides in his heart today? I would probably say no, right? But I would also probably say that Jerry looks at the world a lot differently than he did when he was 14 years old. Now, again, talk about culture. We all been somewhere when we were 14 years old, right? I'm 51. God only knows, okay? Some of the stuff that we've done, been, and decisions we made, and groups of people that we were around. Is that thing at that time a reflection of the person we are now? No, I would dare to say it's not, right? Because people evolve, people change. We saw Joe Biden, who was a staunch, advocate of desegregation. He did not want. He was a segregationist. He did not want. He did not want desegregation. We saw the Clintons with the crime bill, and then he even being a governor of Arkansas. We also saw his position on some of these things in his earlier political career. So people evolve? Do we give people a chance? And as you pointed out, D, in the cancel culture, we do pick and choose who gets the pass, who doesn't get the pass, right? My thing is to the question, should Jerry Jones be canceled? No, I don't think he should. And I don't think he could, even if we wanted to cancel him. Because as you stated, he is a money-making machine for the NFL in totality. He means too much to the entire entity of the NFL. And this man knows how to make money. I don't believe Jerry Jones is a racist. No, I do not. But the problem that I do have with Jerry, and someone they said this on First Take early this morning, Stephen A. and the gang up there, they was in the national platform there on First Take. They talked about it, and the thing is with Jerry, as he said in his post game conference last night, that everything is about business. The decisions that he made that had to do with players was always about business, to try to work it out and make everything about business. He even had a meeting with the team during the Colin Kaepernick thing, and during that time, met with the players and told them, look, if you nail here in Texas, that's it. Your bottom line is going to be implicated, and it's going to be implicated because my bottom line is going to be impacted. So therefore, it's a business. Think about this as making a business decision. Now, my only problem with that is that because Jerry is so business oriented and he's so focused on making money, that I think he loses. And this is something that maybe, Jerry within his own time or somebody who's close to him can speak to him to this, that Jerry would need to understand that, again, convictions that are personal should always outweigh business. I understand you got to do business. I understand you got to make money. I understand that there's a lot of implications that come with choices that we make, things that we say, actions that we take. But at the end of the day, you can't always look at things from just a business perspective and not look at the humanity of a thing or a situation. He says that everybody he's ever dealt with, coaches he's hired, people he's dealt with, and Will McClay, who is beloved by Cowboy fans, who's our director of player personnel. He's been with Jerry Jones and him for a very, very long time. He's technically really the GM on the low. He's done a great job for the Cowboys as a scout and as a GM on the low. But the truth of the matter is that Jerry, I don't believe, is a racist. I don't believe that he is. But I do believe that he perhaps still has some perhaps influences of America that he once saw, and may want to see some of that still in place today. Doesn't mind progression, but we got to stay put a little bit on what we used to have, and I think that's what you have with Jerry. But I don't think he should be canceled. No, I don't believe he should be canceled at all. I don't think so.
So my question is it a big, so moving forward, I honestly don't think he needs to be canceled either. And at this point, he wouldn't be canceled. He's too big to fail, right? So nobody's canceling Jerry. Roger Goodell, the rest of the owners would not dare let their mouths fix their mouths to say anything about the selling of the team and the changing of no, that won't happen. So realistically speaking, that's not going to happen. This is just a question to start conversation. But my question to you is it a bigger problem with cancel culture, or is it a problem because these things are highlighted based on cancel culture, right?
Correct.
That's what it highlights, because people, you shouldn't feel the same way. Your ideals, the way you feel about life and people, it shouldn't be the same. The 14-year-old self and the 80-year-old version of yourself. If you haven't evolved, shame on you, because you have to understand that the world is made up of all walks of life. Everybody's not going to have the same upbringing as you, but you still have to be able to work effectively with all groups of people, races, color, creed, everything.
Totally.
So I don't think that he sees the way he sees the world the way he did at 14. The point is that, and this was the Washington Post that posted the picture in the first place.
Correct.
It's so weird that the timing of everything, given enough time, people will find something, and we see this a lot of times in politics, and it's mudslinging, and people are always bringing up people's past. But I think the bigger problem is cancel culture. Now, I think if you do something in more recent times, you should be held accountable for it. And there are statutes of limitation for crimes, different things that people do that really there is. If you're found to be guilty of, you should, pay the piper, right? But I think when we get into people's personalities, different ideals, stands that they take, a person may feel that this is something. I mean, there's a lot of people. I mean, we could talk about I mean, we're not going to get into politics, but people's ideals can evolve and change over time, right? So I
Yeah, they
think
can.
ultimately, uh, from a honest standpoint, Jerry will never be canceled, right? But I think that it's these type of situations that come up where someone could, go into the deepest archives of your life and pull
Right,
something out, and it's not,
right.
and so it's a still shot, right? To be
Yeah,
honest and realistic, it's a still shot. So we don't know what he was doing. Maybe he was
correct.
observing. Maybe
I
he
was
was
saying the same
yelling and
thing.
spitting. We don't know. We
Right.
we
We
don't
don't know.
know from that picture because it's a still shot, and he looks to just be observing and looking on. But I think cancel culture is the culprit, and that is something that the toxicity of the culture, excuse me,
Right.
is more damaging than sometimes people's deeds. Because we've seen it countless times. People have had and have contributed to the world in tremendous ways that are would never. And I'm not saying Jerry Jones has, but I'm just saying in general, people have contributed to the
Right, right.
world, and they'll have a misstep, a error in judgment, a misdeed, or something,
Sure.
and then forever the
Sure.
world tries to tarnish them and wipe away everything that they have ever done to society, to offer to society. And I don't think that is a fair approach in a way that things should be handled. But that's just my opinion.
No, I agree with you, D, and I think the cancel culture is detrimental to our society, and for us to have any type of progress in terms of engendering understanding between each other. What I feel is the problem, though, with cancel culture also is that we pick and choose when it's appropriate to implement that. Right? I don't think it's an equilibrium across the board because some groups can be canceled and some groups cannot be canceled. I recall when you look at maybe Megan Kelly from when she was on Fox at the time and ended up having her show, and she had no problem with blackface. She grew up at a time when blackface was acceptable. Again, you're talking about a culture, you're talking about a bubble that's insulated with Europeans that grew up around each other, and that was what was acceptable. That was something that they felt was, not harmful or insidious to another group of people. And so she just came up with that ignorance to think that that was okay. She was never canceled, right? And I don't think she should have been canceled. But my thing is that we do see a lot of times, we look at Kanye, we saw what happened with Kyrie, we look at other situations, even within the black community again, where the things that we see within the black community that are perpetuated constantly, and no one seems to have a problem with that. But when certain groups and certain entities, or certain, power brokers, as I like to call them, those part of a brain trust that are shaping and influencing the direction of this country, when certain people are attacked or they feel vulnerable, then I think that's when we see the appropriation of cancel culture. And I think that's not fair. I do think we need to make sure that we have conversation. I think you eloquently said it. Somebody's idealistic views on something should be appreciated. You don't have to agree, but it should be appreciated. If someone has a view or they have a historical context to something that they want to share, or if they have questions about something, why is that not embraced? Why is not someone who may have concerns about a behavior of a particular group or a particular time and space or something that was done? It doesn't mean that the entire ethnicity of that group is under attack. It doesn't mean that religion should be ostracized. It just means that this one thing or something that we see as a cyclical pattern is being challenged, and we have a right to say, why is that? It doesn't mean that somebody is a bad person just because of the fact that they may have done something. Even with this case with Jerry Jones, people do evolve, right? We're not saying that everybody's like that, but we're just saying, hey, we know that was something he grew up in, and we understand that he was exposed to that, so that shaped him, right? Like many other the billionaire owners that are in the NFL. But the whole cancel culture thing, I think, has to be across the board, which I don't think it should be at all. All right, and that was the problem that I always had with it. It was kind of a pick and choose, cherry picking kind of situation, depending upon who was offended. And I think for us to get to a better place in our society, we're going to have to be able to have those conversations, as long as what's being said does not incite riot or should be or articulated in a way that would be considered a hate crime to somehow bring hate to a particular community. That I don't agree with, because I do think, though, however, we can say what we need to say, ask the intelligent question about the things that we see, because people aren't blind. They see what's going on. Why can't they just ask that question without engendering any kind of violence to that community, to that religion, with just and just being able to just get an answer to their question? And usually, when people do not have an answer to the question you ask, they will quickly label you and they will cancel you. Why? Because you ask them a question that they don't have an answer to, because it's part of what they do and they want to stay in what they do, and they rather do that. And it's easier to tell you that you have hurt me, and now all of a sudden I'm the victim and I need to now shut you down. And that's the thing we need to address.
I totally agree. I totally agree, and I just think ultimately the cancel culture is more of the problem. I think
It is. No
I just
question.
think that's more of the problem. I
Yeah, I
think
agree.
people should be able to evolve, and just to be clear, they're canceling. The cancel culture is relentless. It affects black and white, because I went through a list of, and I'm not going to go on because they all have unique stories, but I've
Sure.
gone through a whole list of people who have been canceled by this, woke cancel culture, and it's
Right.
it's black and white. I mean, now the severity of how it is kind of distributed or enacted to a degree, there are
Right.
varying levels of that cancel culture, right? But I mean,
Right. I
we've
agree.
had everyone from J.K. Rowling, she was canceled. I mean, so with it, there are different people, if they speak out or take a stance on something that they feel is, you still, with all of the fame, notoriety, and as that your platform grows, you still have to remain true to yourself. You
I
can't
agree.
lose yourself in all of that. So your moral compass
Right.
still has to be north and south, right? And when it starts to
Right.
tilt, that's when, I think society wants to push you one way or the other, right? But you have to stay true to yourself. And when you do, listen, unfortunately, sometimes people lose stuff. They lose, money, and they lose endorsements. But let the chips fall where they may. You got to stay true
Right.
to yourself.
I
Um,
agree.
but do you have anything else before we
Good point.
wrap it up?
No, I think it's a good thing. Listen, we don't cancel each other. You're a 49er fan and a Nets fan. I don't cancel you. Or do I
No, nor
not
nor
being your
nor can
friend?
you, nor
You know what
can
I'm
you,
saying? Yeah.
because you're a Dallas fan, you're a Cowboys fan. But you don't, you guys, you guys can't cancel anyone. All right,
Well,
you
you
don't
know what?
have the
You know
ability.
what?
We canceled you
You
guys
know what?
last year though, so there is a cancel culture. We canceled you guys last year when in the playoffs. We canceled your playoff run, right? So yeah, there is some canceling. There is some
All right,
canceling
it's time to
involved.
go. It's time.
I
Okay, all
know it
right,
is.
all right, all
So
right.
listen,
Okay, it's time to go now. All right,
once yeah, I know you want to
time to
wrap it
go.
up right there.
I want to
Listen,
wrap it up. Wrap it up. Wrap it up.
once again, we want to thank everyone for joining us. Once again, the
Yes.
music by Infinite Audio, production by Kingdom Creative. Uh, what a wonderful show. We touched on some points. We reviewed some
Yes.
games. We love the
Yep.
comments. Please like, share, subscribe to our Facebook and YouTube page. We love hearing from you guys. Once
Yep.
again, Rod, it was a pleasure, an absolute
Always, D.
pleasure having
Always.
the show with you. Until next time, everybody, peace.
Peace.